And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. So tonight we are going to be talking about it. Welcome to Derry. This is episode 5. We're going to be talking about Neibolt Street. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about this. I have my good friend and co-host Rossie here with me, and we're here to break this episode down, guys. So let's go ahead and let's do it. And hey, Rossie. Oh, you're muted.
What's up,
There
John?
you
How
go.
you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good.
That's great. So I wanted to get your opinion of like the last episode that we had, and then going into this episode, what you thought about the opening for this
Yeah, the
episode.
last episode, the opening of this episode, when we get down to it, absolutely crazy. But the last episode, really enjoyed. Disappointed but I think we already talked about the fact that when the pictures came out, the kids were going to be able to see what's in the pictures, but no one else would be able to see what's in the pictures. So
Right.
I think, was it the last episode? No, maybe it's just the last episode with one of the Penny, the little girls.
Yeah.
I forget her name, but the fact that the icing in the cafeteria was it was crazy.
Yeah,
It
it was
was
crazy on
crazy.
what happened to Marge. Yeah.
Yes, Marge. Yes, and
And
I thought it was not real until the new episode, and she's in a hospital, and it's like, oh my gosh, that really happened.
yeah, I knew that was really real because the
Yeah.
way that it was actually presented to us, because Marge is actually seeing snails in her
Yes.
eyes because
Right.
she was actually afraid of snails.
Right.
But that scene was just horribly,
Mm.
you know what I mean? It was just horrifying. And then at first I'm like, and I said this in the last episode, I said, if she winds up saying that she saw snails in her eyes, she's going to be over
Right.
there with Juniper Grove with Lily.
Yes.
If she winds up doing it, they're going to both be in there together. So
Yes.
I'm glad that in this episode, it redeems her character.
Right.
And then we actually get the interrogation scene at the end of last episode, and it goes into this episode.
Right.
And and here's the thing, Dick actually went into Daniel's head, and now we have
Yes.
and I thought Daniel was dead, to be honest with you. He's over there, he's spitting up
Right.
some white spit and stuff. It looks like he's having a seizure.
Right.
Come to find out he's okay, thank
Yeah.
God.
Right.
But it's just horrifying to see how much damage Dick did in order to get the information he needs. And I also
Yes.
said this too. I said they're weaponizing Dick just as they're trying to weaponize and control Pennywise as well, which is it.
Right.
So you have one character that's completely innocent in this and just taking
Right.
orders from the general
Right.
and not knowing what they're dealing with up until now.
Right. No, that scene where Dick was going into Daniel's mind to get that information. First of all, when Dick is having these episodes, it's hurting him. You can tell the pain and the strain that it hurts him to even do this mentally. But the way that he went into Daniel's mind and watched him when he was a kid and got the information, I too thought they killed him.
Me too.
He died because of the convulsions, the foam out of his mouth. I thought he was done for too. And I like this character, so I'm happy that he was okay. But yeah, the scene of really seeing what Dick does was awesome.
I
How he
agree.
can do that,
Just horrible. It's just a horrible thing for him to be able to do that and get the
Yes.
information he needs.
Right.
But I understand why he has to do it. But at the
Right.
same time, though, he's just taking orders. But now we're getting into this other thing with Marge in the hospital. Lily visits, and Marge didn't
Yes.
tell anyone about what really happened. Everyone thinks that Marge is covering for Lily.
Right.
But I like this moment between her. It's like, hey, look, I didn't tell anybody what happened because then I'll be in Juniper Grove.
Right.
And I just want to tell you, I'm sorry for everything I did. And then she winds up telling her, I'm sorry, I also didn't believe you.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that Marge is now redeemed. And
Right.
it makes me like, okay, I don't hate you as bad as I did in the first couple of episodes. So
Yeah.
you're good. You're cool with me. You made up with Lily. There's no sneaky shit going around. You're
Right.
good. But I just thought that was a good scene.
Yeah, no, and Lily's response, because now Marge knows and saw things that Lily was talking about, or she knows that it's real. And like I said, honestly, seeing her in a hospital, in this scene, and really realizing that she took her eye out, and the
Mhm.
fact that, of course, Lily's caught with the knife in her hand. you're not knowing how this is going to go down. I'm thinking that, we're going to see Lily in this episode back at Juniper Hospital because of what happened. But the fact that Marge didn't tell, and like you said, the scene between her and Lily, and her now knowing that Lily was telling the truth the whole time, they're both in the same boat. I like that they were able to get that friendship back, because you can tell in the beginning that, Marge really liked Lily and wanted things to go well for her. So I'm happy that, unfortunately, because of it, they're both on the same page and they can help each other.
Right, which is something that I'm glad that now they're actually stronger together now.
Yes, yes.
So I'm really am happy about that.
Yeah.
And, I thought for sure that she cut out both eyes because of the way the chisel was and stuff like that inside that workshop room, but it was only one eye. So I'm like, so this is not as bad as I thought. You just lost one eye, but still, it was gruesome enough that I actually thought it was both eyes gouged out. But
yeah, the scene was crazy though. I mean, that was just nuts. The scene was awesome, just seeing her eye and just like I said, we've said this many a times. Good job. They've done a good job with the graphics. I mean, it really takes you in there and you're just freaking out over what you're saying. So
even more in this episode, but we'll get to that in a minute. But,
yes.
But then you see this other scene where you have Rich coming in. You also have all the club members coming back in, and then off to the side, you don't even see the tent, because I was actually still trying. I was rewatching this before we did the review. I'm over there pausing it to see if I can see the tent where Maddie's at, to see if it's there. And they do a good job of blocking it out to where we're just as surprised as they are for seeing this. And then it's very creepy on how Maddie comes out, and I'm like, nah, that's got to be Pennywise. I actually had a question mark in my notes where I'm like, nah, this has to be Pennywise playing with them.
I didn't even think that. Like, seriously, I was so happy to see Maddie back. And when he came out with the long hair and everything, and seeing him, I'm like Tamika, what she said to you. I thought, oh my gosh, Maddie's back. But I didn't even cross my mind to think about it. I'm just happy to see the kid, the things that he's saying, what he went through, and of course, you start questioning, but you were in the sewers. How did you, everything that he's saying. But honestly, I didn't know until the reveal.
Well,
I'm pretty gullible too. So,
well, this is how I caught on to this. Okay. So he's telling them, oh yeah, I waited for him to go to sleep because he sleeps during the daytime. No, he doesn't. If he slept during the day, Will wouldn't have gone and attacked in the stream while fly fishing. So you're lying your ass off.
Right.
And so I'm like, nah, you're Pennywise. And then he's like, oh yeah, I just left Phil there. And Bill's dead and all these other people are dead. So you're telling me that while it was napping, you decided to escape? I'm like, nah, dude, you're acting kind of suspect to me.
Dude, honestly, dude, I feel silly. You know what I mean? Like that should have been the first thing that I thought was it. But no, like, dude, I was so happy to see Maddie back. It was just, I'm going with it. Like Maddie's back, not even thinking about it, So they got me. How are you? They got me.
Yep. But yeah, yes. Here's the thing. They do such a good job of portraying this, because I'm also questioning one other character though too. We'll get into that in a minute.
Right.
Because they're playing this tug of war game with my emotions right now, and I don't like it. Because I'm like, is she good? Is she not good? She seems like she's good, but I don't know. But we'll get into that in a minute. But then we also have where you have Major tells Leroy about the pillars. Now he's actually in this as well.
Right.
And because they're not even telling Leroy about what's going on.
Right.
So what do you think?
Are we talking about the little fragments? Are we at the fragments?
Yeah,
the fragments.
Yeah.
First of all, I have to say that I, went back and watched the first just really quick so that I could remember more of it and those little fragments. Happy with that scene.
But yeah.
You go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's see here. We have Terry. He says Lily was saying bad. Pennywise was so close. Yes, he was. Yeah. But I do like the fact that you have Leroy, who's not in the know of everything that's going on, and he's pissed off at the general because he has every right to be pissed off at him.
Right.
It goes, wait a minute, you're telling me that you allowed my family to move into this town knowing that
Right.
there's danger in this town?
Right.
He goes, well, technically, it's your fault for moving them into the town when you could have just stayed on the base. But at the same time, though, they don't want to. Here's the thing: I understand where Leroy's coming from. He doesn't want to just exclude his son from experiencing life.
Right.
He wants the best for him.
Right. And when he goes home, and his wife has a whole situation going on because she's trying to help Ronnie's dad. But when he gets home, and he first of all, he has a right to be upset. They didn't tell him, that the town was like a problem with the town, and this curse. But anyways, when he goes home and tells his wife, I'm thinking that there's going to be an argument because they haven't been getting along too well, as far as her being an activist and him wanting her to kind of like stay on the low. And then the fact that his son, who just met a group of kids, now has to go and live on this base, and he has a whole situation going on. But I'm with Leroy. Yes, I would be absolutely pissed and furious because he had kept his family away to come to town and get settled, and then to bring his family to a town and things aren't right, and it's dangerous. Yeah, he could have made provisions for his family. So,
right, I totally agree.
Yeah,
because I feel bad for Leroy because he's like he wants to let his son experience having friends, and he can't really have friends on a military base.
Yeah,
excluded from everybody.
Right.
So I understand where Leroy is coming from, and instead of Francis, which is the major.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So with the major and everything, with the general, I just feel like that he's not confessing up to the fact, hey, look, I was in the wrong on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that when Leroy went up in a plane and had to take Dick with him, and he got to see that scene where Dick is going in, being able to see, having a shine. And so even though at that time Leroy didn't know, that Dick had that and what that was, he did invite him to the house. And you would think by that time that the general would have let him know exactly what's going on, because he's already had experience and had to take Dick up in a plane to go and find where this site is. So yeah, he should know. And so, yeah, they're leaving a lot out, and he should have known that by then. So
exactly. Yeah. So then we have this other thing that happens where Maddie tells Veronica, Ricky, Will, and Lily about Pennywise and how he escaped. We talked about that. Then Veronica's dad goes to Shawshank, and that was creepy.
Yeah.
But the security guard, Leroy's wife, sees Leroy and tells his wife about everything. So this is what I wanted to talk about, was how creepy it was to see Pennywise being the security guard, because you already know something's about to go down.
Right.
Because of the fact of the look on that security guard's face. Right. And you also see Leroy's wife going like, what the hell is this?
Right.
And it just shows you how corrupted everything is.
Yes. No, that scene when, Ronnie's dad's getting on that bus and she's out there waiting and wanting to talk to him, I guess. But anyways, when that scene happens, you see the look on her face first, because there's commotion, and she looks, and just her reaction to him. And then you see him at the door, and that smile, creepy, creepy. He's everywhere.
He is. He's everywhere in Derry. Then there's no restrictions on him. Because even Dick says, what makes you think? Well, no, Rose actually says this. What makes you think that you can actually have control over this thing? Right. It has no jurisdiction, no conscience on anything it's doing. So what makes you think that you control this thing?
Right.
So, yeah, it just shows you how much he's attached to this town and how much he's willing to do to corrupt this town even more.
Right. I think Francis is making a big mistake by not including Rose on what's going on and letting her help, because she has the prism, that fragment. And so she could be so much more of a help, especially when he knows when they were younger, she knew about what was in the woods. So I was really disappointed that he kind of blows her off. And I have a feeling that he wants to protect her because he still, obviously remembers that they were kind of in love with each other. What do you think about that? About him not letting her help out. I believe eventually she's going to, but just in that scene alone.
Okay, so I do like how he said how he brought his memories back as well.
Yes.
There was like this experiment in the military, and that's how he managed to get his memories back.
Right.
But and I agree with you fully. Where he remembers the fact that she saved his life, but yet you're not going to allow this woman that saved your life to help you, but you're going
Right.
to trust her nephew that you never even met in your whole entire life,
Right.
to do this when he has the charge.
Right.
And and then but Rose trusts Francis still, even though she's not including in this whole entire thing.
Right.
But
Yes.
she's also pissed at him because of the fact that what he did to with her nephew.
Right. Yeah.
So I just feel like that after this happens,
Yeah.
I think some of the military people are going to be like, look, I don't want none of this. I don't want this. So I think it's going to leave a door open for Rose to come in to help out with this.
Right. Especially how bad things went in the tunnels,
Right.
Things went worse than I thought they would. I mean, first of all, I'm so happy that, when we get to Pennywise, how he makes his appearance. Been waiting, love that character, love this Pennywise. So, but the whole tunnel scene and what's going on there, honestly, John, I was not expecting for, I forget his name, the Leroy's best friend who works with him to
I forgot
die.
his name, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But I
Yeah.
also wasn't expecting what happens to Dick either. Like,
Oh my gosh, right.
like it was supposed to be just like waist deep water up to there,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden he just whoop, and he's
Right.
gone. And then next thing you know, he wakes up in he's in a bathtub,
Right.
and it's his grandmother telling him, "Hey, look, you don't need to be doing this. Keep the box shut."
Yeah.
And this is a callback to The Shining and also Doctor Sleep, where he keeps his memories locked up in a box to where nobody else can get in.
Right.
And so his grandfather comes in, and if you guys read Doctor Sleep, his grandfather is a terrible person.
Yeah.
Even in
Horrible.
The Shining, I think I want to say even in The Shining, Dick might have mentioned him in the book.
Okay.
But he's a horrible person.
Yeah.
And then it is manipulating him to be able to open that box and scare him to death to open that box.
Right.
And just the mannerisms and the expressions of what happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just horrifying to see that.
No, yeah. That scene when he comes out of that bathtub and, his grandfather with the gun and the threatening him basically. And he's upset because, he wants to use Dick's talent in nefarious ways. And so, of course, Dick doesn't want to do that. But I love the fact that he and his grandmother can talk to each other. But when he was taunting him about opening up that box and how he was freaking out because you don't want to let that out. Great scene. Him being underwater and him being gone. Like he was down there for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Like he was down there for a good 10, 15, or maybe 20 minutes.
Right.
And everybody was looking for him down there. And then after that, you have the whole entire thing with the kids. And I also like this moment though, Rossie, where you have Neibolt Street, then you also have the accident that happened at Shawshank.
Right.
And everything is interconnecting with each other.
Right.
Within this episode, everything's coming together. Side A plot is coming together. Side B plot's coming together. And it's all being televised on TV about the military faking a gas line just to get in Neibolt Streets. And I love it. I love how they do this because at that same time that the military is moving in, the kids are moving into the sewer.
Yes.
So I like we have these two plot lines coming together now.
Yes.
And I think that things with the kids in the sewer is just as scary as the stuff with the adults.
Okay.
Because here's the thing: as adults, there are things that scares us as adults that are even more scarier than what kids are scared of.
Right.
And I really love what they did with this. And then you have the Uncle Sam thing saying, "I want you."
Gosh. Yes.
I'm like, oh.
Yes, that was pretty awesome. Yeah, and I was wondering, like, at some point they're down there together. When are they going to cross paths? The fact that you have the Uncle Sam coming out, like I said, just the unexpected scene. Freaking scary. Scared me. I jump a few times in this series, I must say.
Same.
And then the kids and what's going on with the kids, because at some point, Maddie then reveals that he's it. And the way that he did it when he starts singing the song, well, first of all, before we can get to that, the body's floating up.
Yeah.
The body's floating up.
The bodies are floating up, but the kids are not even quite like just shocked at the bodies piling up. They also know now Phil's dead. They know Bill is dead.
Yes.
And then they're just frozen still.
Yeah.
As Maddie is going around in a circle.
Yes.
And as he's going around in a circle, then you see then you see Pennywise, and I'm like, and the shape, and I like how they do this whole entire thing with the head, the back of the head opens up.
Yes.
And then you see Pennywise's head in the back of him.
Yeah.
And then finally we get the whole entire deal of Pennywise right in front of him. And
Right.
oh God, that scared the hell out of me. And then the kids are like, bye. But
yeah, they were gone. No, that was so great. I mean, just the reveal of Pennywise, the way it was done through Maddie, great scene. And when he's finally revealed, how many jump for joy. I've been waiting for when he was going to make his appearance, and I love the way that they did that. And he was scary as hell. I mean, I was freaked out, and they take off, and just to hear his voice without seeing him is even creepier.
yes, especially when you have that little shadow thing of the shape of him.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, just
Oh
moving really fast.
Right.
And then, thanks to Daniel, who dropped the shard in the water, it saved Lily's life. And at first, I was thinking, wait, is it her charm that it is actually afraid of? Because there is a turtle, which is Matrin, who it is actually scared of.
Right.
But then I'm like, no. Then you see it glow in the water part, and it happens to be the shard. I'm like, okay, good. She's safe.
Yeah, and his expression, because I'm thinking like the same thing. I'm thinking that here we go, heads off, she's done. Like Lily's going to be done. And I'm going back to what you said weeks ago. Do not get attached to any of these characters. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a character that we didn't know we were going to lose, but we're going to lose. Mm-hmm. And then when he does his form where he's getting ready to bite and his whole face is exposed, the teeth are exposed. Love that still shot. But I'm wondering what's going on. And they show the shard in the water. And then it's like,
he just freezes.
And her looking at it, trying to figure out, wait, like what happened? And she sees that and picks that up. And it's like, yes, here we go.
And I like how they do this thing where it is afraid of this shard. And he just hurry. Then all of a sudden he just closes his mouth and then he runs off.
Right. Yeah, just backs away. So yeah.
Then we have Will and the rest of the rest of the friends. And first, Leroy is actually picturing his wife in the sewer.
Right.
And his friend is like, there's nothing there.
Right.
And so he shoots his wife in the head.
Crazy.
Leroy does. And then all of a sudden he just goes up to it. And we already know that that's not his wife. That's actually it. And I like how it just does this little swan type of swim away from it.
Yes.
Him. And then, but then Will comes out. I'm like, no, do not shoot your son.
Oh my gosh.
Even though I know Will's safe, it's still, he's 3 for 3 right now.
Right. No, dude, first of all, when he started tripping out and thinking that was his wife, it's like, okay, here's the problem, because these kids are going to come. At some point, I already know these kids are going to come, and that's when they're going to run into them. But then when he shoots the wife, who's not the wife, we know that. At that point, I'm like, when he tells his friend, don't trust anyone, even if it's your mom, it's your girlfriend, someone you love, it's not them. Kill them. Mm-hmm. Problem. Here's the problem. And then the kids come around and his friend jumps in away. And I was not expecting that, to save Will, and ends up dying down in those sewers. Yeah. I really thought he was going to shoot Will. I was like,
me too.
But we know Will's not going to die, but still.
Right. He's 3 for 3 right now. Like, he's going to be a heart attack, this kid. First the cemetery, then when he's going fly fishing, now this.
Right.
I'm like, no wonder why you need to stay at the military base, dude.
I know.
You just need to but, then then his friend takes the bullet and everything, because Leroy was about to take that shot.
Yes.
And his friend dies. He goes, this time I do this for you.
Right.
So that I just thought it was just heartwarming to see
Yeah.
that how close of friends that Leroy and his friend are.
Yeah.
But I also want to back up for a minute though too,
Hmm.
because I also want to talk about Lily arriving at Mrs. Kirsch's house before all this went down.
Right.
So I'm always thinking that Mrs. Kirsch is still controlled by Pennywise because we've seen that
Yes.
in chapter 2 because she's
Yes.
actually the owner of Beverly Marsh's house.
Yes.
So I was thinking, okay, she's why else would she keep pursuing Lily to go ahead and investigate this if she's not
Right.
it?
Right.
And so then after that, you get that surprise thing that Hank and her are the ones who are sleeping together,
Right. How surprising was like
right?
when he's in her back seat and she's nervous, she's scared, and it's like, okay, when they go to the woods and they embrace, I did not see that coming.
Me either.
Not at all did I see that coming. They are together.
Right. And so I'm like, maybe she's not it right now. Maybe she is.
Right.
I don't know. Because it's playing an emotional thing for me. I feel like emotional damage right now.
Yeah.
Like that meme
Right.
says.
Because you don't know who.
But right now, I'm just putting a asterisk there. I trust you, but I don't trust you.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
But then we also have Lily brings. Okay, then also too. Let's talk about the fact that Lily gives them the happy medicine in the sewer, and they're high as hell.
Oh my gosh, that's so hilarious! I love how they're all chirping and the way that they're looking at each other and floating and smiling and they're just high. They're just high, and it's hilarious because they weren't expecting that, and they're like, Are you guys all feeling the same thing? And just a funny scene, cute little scene.
I do too. It's like,
Them
Rich,
being-
are you holding Marge's hand? No.
Oh, how cute that was, right?
That was cute.
Yeah.
And, I just thought it was hilarious to see these kids. And it's like, okay, well, that plan didn't work, Lily. So
Right.
sorry.
Right.
But I just thought that this was a great, terrifying episode with it. The production design. I know we talked about the special effects.
Right.
But I decided to do a little homework with the behind the scenes stuff a little bit.
Okay.
But they said that this is probably the most beautiful set that they ever worked on.
Wow.
And also the most hardest sets to work on as far as the camera angles, the camera work and stuff like that for the sewer. And they were trying everything to get the house right as well because they had to use a new filming location than what they had before. So they were making it close to what the movie was.
Right.
And they did a very good job with the production design on this.
Oh, yeah.
I love this episode.
Yes.
I think this is actually, I love how Andy Muschietti does this, where he's creating tension between the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
He's like, look, we're going to get to Pennywise, but we have to get through this first before we get there.
Right.
So I think it's perfectly well paced whenever you look at that.
Yeah.
But,
No, yeah. And I love the end of the episode where Dick comes out of the tunnels and he lived, and then he looks over and he sees the major's friend dead, just standing there, and then it goes off. I mean, this is a show where I just want to just watch it all. Like, I don't want it to go off. I'm ready for the next episode. I'm so excited to watch it on Sunday nights. It's a really good series.
I agree. This is probably one of my favorite series just to watch. I'm always excited for Sunday nights. And that's why I like watching weekly episodes like this, because it gives us a chance to use our imaginations just to be able to talk about this and have that water cooler talk with this. But, I also like how in this episode too, where Leroy's wife also talks with Mrs. Kirsch and tells her everything. So now it's making me think that I know that Hank's not going to be able to stay on the military base.
Right.
So I'm thinking that he's going to be in the black quarters somewhere, hiding out.
Okay.
And somehow or another, Pennywise is probably going to wind up killing Hank. That's just me thinking.
Yeah, I don't see that character being around long.
No, sadly,
it's going to get got at some point. Yes.
Then we see Leroy asks about Dick making it out of the sewers, and then it cuts to Dick walking out of there, and his expressions. This actor that does a fantastic job of his expressions and his emotion and stuff. He's scared out of his mind because he doesn't know what's reality and what's not reality.
Right.
Because you also see Leroy's friend off to the side.
Yes.
As well. But it makes me scared for Dick because now all his memories are unlocked. So which means Pennywise now has access to his head.
Right.
Which
And
now
at
is going to
some
be
no, yeah, and it makes you think like being that Pennywise will be have access to him. Will he be able, or will be able to use Dick against them? Like at some point, will Dick be a danger to them?
right.
You know?
I would think that maybe whatever Dick sees, it will
Yeah.
see. And whatever it
Right.
sees, Dick will
True.
also see.
Yeah.
So, and it's just about how deep it's going to go, where Pennywise manipulates his head to the point where it's not actually something's not actually true
Right. Right.
as well. So yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes, I love this episode. Hands down, one of my favorite episodes for this one. I always like it whenever they go to Neibolt Street and play around in the sewer stuff. That always makes me very creepy, but also too exciting at the same time.
Right.
But those kids just being shocked the whole entire time, and just standing there.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, kids, you guys gotta go. Come on.
Yeah, I know. So run, like run.
But still, great episode. Guys, I have a question for you. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? Tell us in the comments below, because we would like to actually know what your thoughts are. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff here at Movie Lovers Unite. But I think that's going to be about it for this episode, though.
All right.
Is there anything else that you want to add to this or anything?
No. I just can't wait for the next episode.
Same here.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it. I hope everyone has a great and safe night, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye guys.